Let us now cross over to Paris, where African leaders are set to meet tomorrow to brainstorm on a common agenda at the ongoing climate change talks. KTN'S special correspondent Alex Chamwada is joining us from there. Alex, good evening to you. I understand the UN is set, or rather has made public draft resolutions on the way forward. Is this correct?
Yeah, that is correct. By yesterday, negotiators from the member countries were burning the midnight oil to make sure that they have a draft agreement by today. Today was the deadline. So yes, we've heard that there is a draft agreement, but not yet there. If I can quote the French ambassador for climate, Laurence Toubiana, she said that nothing has been decided and nothing will be left behind, that this text marks the will of all to reach an agreement, and we are not there yet. But with me is the head of delegation, the Kenyan delegation, the minister, the cabinet secretary for environment and natural resources, Professor Judy Wakhungu, who joins us to tell us the update. Professor Wakhungu, what does this draft agreement entail in brief?
We received the draft agreement this afternoon. What the draft agreement has, unfortunately, at this stage, is very many brackets. What very many brackets means that the negotiators themselves were not able to agree. They've now handed it over to the ministers, for the ministers now to use that political will to remove those brackets. The African ministers of environment will be meeting tomorrow to go through the draft. As you're aware, we are negotiating as a group, the Africa group, the G77 and China. So we, the Africans, want to look at those brackets, hopefully agree on those brackets tomorrow, so that when we are starting on Monday with all of the other ministers, we go with our position. Some of the areas that we are still not satisfied with are the areas of finance and the transparency and modalities of getting that finance. We cannot provide plans of what we plan to do in adaptation, say, and mitigation if we don't know and cannot predict how we're going to get the funding. There's also the issue of ambition. We feel as Africans that many of the large emitters are not being ambitious enough when it comes to their mitigation plans. When it also comes to means of implementation, we're hoping that we can now tease out these issues so that going forward, parties know exactly what they're planning to get out of it.
We know that Africa was pushing for finance, climate finance. It was pushing for capacity building as well as technology transfer. So in this draft agreement, you mean there is nothing tangible yet towards those three goals?
There's absolutely nothing tangible yet. And that's why, if you repeat what the French minister said, is just basically we have a draft document. We as ministers have a lot of work to do, more than we actually anticipated. So now it's up to us, the African ministers and the group we're negotiating with, to iron out those issues: capacity building, technology, which we're all calling together means of implementation. But then also, what is the ambition? What is the ambition of the industrialized countries going forward? We expect them.
From Kenya, who are the key members of the Kenyan team pushing this agenda?
Well, we have the Directorate, the Climate Change Secretariat. They're all here, so we've come heavy loaded. These are very experienced people. We also have the Ministry of Energy, the Renewable Energy Director is also here. From Forestry, the director is going to be arriving tonight to join us tomorrow. We also have a team that is looking at the finance side from Treasury. So I believe as Kenya, we've come with the best team possible.
Thank you, Waziri, for joining us. That's the latest from Paris at the Climate Change Conference. And remember, this conference goes on until the 11th of December. We'll keep you posted and back to Nairobi unless there is another question.
No, thank you very much for that comprehensive update on the developments in Paris. Our special correspondent there, Alex Chamwada, live for us in Paris on the climate change talks and what is happening and what to expect in coming days. You are watching KTN Weekend Prime. Thank you so much for staying with us. Do not go away. We still have lots in store for you, including in sports. We'll be updating you on how Kenya's Shujaa performed at the Dubai Sevens. Stay with us.